But so the dog
so you
just
have to teach her how to
now you have to
pray when.
what that is, right? Now you have to teach the dog that has a complete opposite view that says that me showing this, because the show of aggression is great. It's a great show of aggression, but the dog doesn't know what comes after that. Now we have to go into the process of showing the dog. So that's actually for me, if I'm doing an evaluation, like I'm okay with that, right? Like I'm okay with being able to work with that because the dog has all the aggression in the world. Now I just have to teach the dog to chase things. I just have to teach you how to chase, catch, and hold things, which the dog kind of wants to do, but it has to work through this first. That's fine, and especially for that situation, because that's more like sport stuff. That's a personal protection dog. So that's a little bit different as far as development. That's why I even was going that route of like bringing the dog out that way first, right? Because the dog doesn't have an understanding of defending itself. How the fuck is it going to defend someone else, right? So like. But that's a concept for when you're questioning like sport versus personal protection. That's not a sport dog. So no, I'm not gonna go to like
a lot of
sporty fucking and then I'm gonna tell him like, oh yeah, your dog doesn't chase a rag, it's not gonna work for you. It's the exact opposite. Right? For what he wants and for what he needs, a dog is gonna do what actually, but I need to test it or I need to see exactly how well the dog is going to do. Like my evaluation of a personal protection dog is very much different than that of a sport dog, right? So like if you're looking at that dog like a sport dog, what you said is pretty fair, right? Looking at that dog as a personal protection dog, that's exactly what I want. I don't want that dog being obsessive about like, oh, items and no.
Because if they see a bird, then you don't have your protection.
Motherfucker comes into the house, puts a pillow in the mouth.
Yeah.
We're done. Dog is useless now, right? So for what he wants and for that situation, that dog's perfect. That dog, I want that dog to, and then want to actually be committed back to you as an individual. Now I can teach that dog how to hold things, but I also want to keep that component kind of together. I want to keep that a little bit to where that dog doesn't really care about, so because that's a different kind of concept. So this is where now the reading has to become a little bit different based on what exactly you're reading for, right? That's a personal protection prospect, not a sport prospect. You want a little bit more than that. Now, yeah, you want it to be a little bit balanced when you're talking about personal protection dogs, just like for any dog that's going to bite in general. But you do want a little bit more of that kind of like forward aggression because you got to understand what pitches and what scenarios those dogs are going to be in. It's going to be very different. It's not going to be as like choreographed as this. You need a little bit more of a live wire for those kind of things. You need something that's a little bit sharper, right? That has a little bit more of that, like, I don't want those things, I want it to kill you, right? Like, you want to see a little bit more of that because that's what that situation calls for. That's what that evaluation calls for. That's what that individual calls for, right? So this is where being able to read dogs based on the scenario also comes into play, right? And that's an instance where, like, I figured all that out, or I did all that with a stick and a rag, right? Like, and from there it's just kind of moving forward, but being able to like almost utilize the minimalistic amount of like items and tools is going to, most times it should give you kind of the clearest depiction of what the dog is actually going to be working with, right? Where do you go from there? Use the very basics. So like I said, with a finished dog, I'm bringing out a fucking sleeve. Yeah. That's it. For a dog that's like even learning, like, I bring out nothing. See, I need to see very much baseline what this dog is working with. So I have to go back to the baseline items. I have to go back. And yeah, when I use them, or how I use them is different but the understanding that I have to go back to the very basic and foundational pictures and elements before I start actually making assumptions on what I should and shouldn't do.